This story from the UAE's Associated Press totally caught me off guard. John Gramble wrote this last week. 2 bombs exploded and killed at least 103 people Wednesday at a commemoration for a prominent Iranian general slain by the U.S. in a 2020 drone strike, Iranian officials said as the Middle East remains on edge over Israel's war with Hamas in Gaza. This is talking about Qasem Soleimani. So they were having something like a funeral or just a service in honor of him. No one immediately claimed responsibility for what appeared to be the deadliest militant attack to target Iran since its 1979 Islamic Revolution. Iran's leaders vowed to punish those responsible for the blasts, which wounded at least 211 people. The explosions occurred near his gravesite as long lines of people gathered for the event. So immediately, Western media assumed, and I'm sure Iran assumed, that Israel was to blame for this assault. The attacks came a day after a deputy head of the Palestinian militant group Hamas was killed in a suspected Israeli strike in Beirut. This was presumed evidence that Israel, or maybe even the United States, was to blame. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, said the attackers will face a harsh response, though he didn't name any possible suspect. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi added, "Undoubtedly, the perpetrators and leaders of this cowardly act will soon be identified and punished." Well, they didn't have to identify them because they identified themselves. Now I'm reading from The Hill. They said, ISIS has claimed responsibility for a deadly Iran bombing that killed more than 80 people and wounded scores more. ISIS, seen as a terrorist group by most of the world, said in a widely circulated statement that suicide bombers detonated explosive belts in the middle of the crowd that had gathered in the southeastern Iranian city of Kerman. So ISIS is the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. They are a terrorist group of Sunni Muslims. They seek to establish an Islamic State governed by Sharia law, and it is for this reason that they are anti-Shia and anti-Iranian. Why do I raise this story? Well, everyone immediately assumed Israel around the world. But what the world, and specifically the West, needs to know is that there are endlessly warring factions of radical Islamic groups that wish to kill each other, again, in the name of their God. And yet, they're united in their hatred of the Jews. Now back to the UAE Associated Press article. In Beirut, Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah called the people who died in the attacks martyrs who died on the same road, cause, and battle that was led by Soleimani. Russian President Vladimir Putin called the attack shocking in its cruelty and cynicism, while Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan condemned the heinous terrorist attacks. Neighboring Iraq expressed condolences, and the European Union issued a statement offering its solidarity with the Iranian people. What's interesting is that ISIS and Israel, though surely enemies of each other, are both fighting against the Islamic Republic of Iran. And it makes you wonder about that ancient proverb, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." Could we see an alliance? I don't know, but I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments. One of the best ways you can help our show, other than by sharing the content, is by picking up some We The Free merch at WeTheFreeShow.com. You can be the salt and light you were meant to be by wearing the Salt and Light shirt, or by sipping your coffee from the Salt and Light mug, or you can sport the God Bless America shirt, and of course, the classic We The Free Crest tee. We've even got stickers and a Smells Like Freedom candle. That's right. So check out our new merch at WeTheFreeShow.com.